Alright. Hello, my lovelies. Thank you for joining me. And this is episode 7 of my live writing series. We're going to do the other part of chapter 1 for MokoJumbie today. The story is a horror. It's about a zombie. I explained it in a previous episode where a zombie is an evil spirit that terrorizes a person. As I mentioned before, I don't see that many stories particularly mentioning zombies, but there's a movie called Drag Me to Hell that's almost like the same thing. And I've read stories before about ghosts and things like that, but nothing particularly pinpointing a zombie. And a zombie is a colloquial term for Caribbean countries. Well, Caribbean countries, I'll have to say that. I'm not going to look it up now, right now, the explanation, but that term has been in the societal mainframe thought and idea for time in memoriam. It goes in line with Adwen. Adwen is a boy, is the spirit of a deceased child. So there are different ideas as far as supernatural spirits are concerned, and zombie is one of them. Okay, so last I left you all, I had just finished writing part of chapter 1. I think I'm going to connect this part to chapter 1 as well. Let's hope that I have the fortitude to go into 2 and 3 today. That's why I don't release this whole. When I thought about it, I thought it was a good idea, but then the magnitude of having to actually type wildlife is a bit disconcerting, and me having to focus on it. So I think the biggest deal with that having to compete with, especially with my illness, is just feeling like I have this term I would tell persons, like just feeling bleh, just not feeling up to certain things. I have to really try hard to motivate myself. As time goes on, I'm getting the impression that with my illness, one big part that I'm going to have to deal with that just gets worse over time is feeling tired and feeling weak. That's mostly it. So okay, so I'm doing this. I think I'll put this story that I'm typing here towards a fundraiser. I really want to pay off on my vehicle. So if you could find the chance and you come in across this YouTube video, you can please like and subscribe, and it would help me get these subscriptions that I need to and help other persons find my story. Okay. In this scene, Benton, who is the police officer I introduced at the beginning of the chapter, is now visiting the scene where one of the characters was killed. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. Okay. So that's what I have so far. Okay, the name excuse me now. Yeah, I don't want to deal with. Okay, so when you're I forget how to explain that. Okay, so certain statements, even when you say like a question doesn't end with a question mark, I don't want to go there. I'll see if I could find that rule. I don't know if anyone else could explain it, but better than me. But I don't want to find that rule like so someone's talking and they're saying hello. I don't think I could continue it and say, are you so and so in a complete sentence and still use the question mark, and I want to use the question mark. That's what I just explain. I'm not sure. That's why we have editors. Okay, before I put this as fork, I meant to use knife. Um, I've been traveling through my country recently, and I'm just getting so tired of being here. I thought that would never happen. I think it's because at the end of the day, I'm so old. I don't know, I have a car, but I only just learned to drive, and I haven't driven in months since getting that car because I'm really scared to be loose on these Trinidad roadways because we have a bad situation not just with the violence issue but with um, accidents and car accidents and stuff. So I say I'm not gonna drive really until by myself until for another 3 years. I say. Um, but I'm just getting tired of walking everywhere. I guess it's partly because of my illness. I never thought that would be the case of just driving though, being in a taxi, going here, going there. I don't know if it's the heat. I learned to walk from my mom who never used to drive. And I tell her to, my sister and I were talking to her just recently. She's retired, and she misses being in town. That's where she used to work. Port of Spain, and everything was in walking distance. And she go here now. She doesn't really do much walking. She has arthritis, especially in her knees and her legs. But she has basically arthritis all over, and she only just retired. And that's what's sad about it. So she has time on her hands, but she can't really go about and do anything. Um, I'm not like bringing up a sad story for any sympathy. I'm just telling you how life is. So I think I must explain myself. It's just as I'm sitting here, your mind does wander when you're writing and you're trying to focus and stuff. I just thought I'd speak my mind. Um, yeah. So my mom, she just and I myself grew up walking. I remember years ago one of the first places I worked coming out of high school was General Hospital, and to walk up there, to walk from General Hospital to Port of Spain, it was nothing. Now I have to take a taxi no matter where I go. I know it's partly because of my illness, but I'm just not into walking at all. And just have to tell her that town isn't the way it used to be. She wants to be working, and she remembering how things used to be. It's not the way it used to be. And I tell her it's hot all the time. I remember years ago when I went away and it was humid where I went. I kept thinking at least Trinidad isn't this way. That it used to in Trinidad it'll be hot, the sun will be out, but it won't be humid as if you can't breathe. Now it's humid as if you can't breathe. You can't even be out in town that long. That's why I sometimes think that part of the violence issue might be the fact that we are just living in a really hot climate. And one thing I think that the government should look at is um, planting more trees to keep the atmosphere in certain cities cooler. Adding shade and adding trees just might help alleviate some persons. I'm just guessing. I don't know if it's a thing, but I always suppose that certain countries have less crime because of the climate. Those climates, those countries have cooler climates. It's just, I'm just thinking out loud. The reason why crime is always like a total thing on my head sometimes is because I study security, and it's been a major issue in the in the papers and out there in the open. And people are wondering about it. So yeah, and in Trinidad, I just don't think that we talk about it enough to say that we have solutions to the problem. Okay, forget that. One thing I have to say is that my mind wasn't really on switched out. My mind wasn't really on a Bridgerton story all the time. I was seeing like promotions for it going back months, and when a when a Bridgerton thing comes out on Netflix, I watch it one time. I don't ever think about the story as I had to see it. It's just something that I watch. So when the Bridgerton story came out, I was a bit self-conscious about watching it because of the context with King George being having some mental disability, and that's always like on my mind for me. Like watching Michael J. Fox, the reason why that story is does his stories always appeal to me is because of my illness and what might be coming of me and stuff in the future. So to see it, I just didn't want to like watch it. And then I didn't want to watch it, just like I just didn't watch it almost immediately, but it was there and I watched it and I really, 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 really loved it because it was, to me, it was a true love story. Not just because it was an interracial love story and the meaning behind it, and I love writing and doing interracial stories and reading interracial stories, but because of the complexity of him being mentally ill, having to deal with the mental illness, and Queen Charlotte coping with it as a support system, especially back in the day when they had almost no answers of it. So to say that, when I first found out about my illness, I researched, I found videos online, which led me personally to come up with, well, basically self-diagnose myself. I saw online that other persons self-diagnose myself themselves. My I the symptoms that I had and the signs were conventional of MS. It wasn't like some persons, they have unconventional symptoms and they cannot tell that they have MS. But mine was conventional enough with my paralysis and everything that I could tell, okay, I have this illness, and I could go on and treat it. And I actually treated it at home for myself, finding things online, not over the counter medication, but you see something on sale, they got a list of things that could help. At the time I didn't think I'll get access to the drug. Years later, I got access to the actual drug that could help me with my illness. So anyway, watching that is like the most ultimate love story. Part of the reason why I like the romances, like these gay romances, the idea behind it is unconventional love story that would not be able to endure, but they still find a way. So that is the Bridgerton story that I really feel that appeals to so many people. It's a unconventional love story that you would never find, that hardly anyone will ever find themselves in, and would still be able to endure and find a way, which is different. That is an impossible love story, and that's sometimes having to do with interracial, interreligious stories, that kind of thing. Yeah, so that is why it really appealed to me. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, and I did not expect to. because the queen herself is a harsh character, and it's the way that she is in the Bridgerton throughout the series. You would think that that is more like this. You know, you have sometimes this character in a story, a romance story, the romantic lead is like the male that is like more aggressive and outward speaking and strong and thing. I wouldn't take things for anyone. They put that in within her, and I thought that that wouldn't work, but it really did, because I think it took her and her fortitude to be able to meet King George all the way with his illness and what was going on. So I really really enjoyed it, and I could support. I really I really hope that you all and others would watch it. It's very good. The Bridgerton story with Queen Charlotte and King George. Okay. I myself have a story to share. Okay. Okay. Hmm. I'm thinking that I just let them both take the stairs two at a time. I don't know why, but as I'm writing, I'm kind of getting uneasy. Um, I don't like horror. I have watched, I've watched horror. I've probably read about 2 or 3 horror books in my lifetime. Or just romantic novels that had a horror bent to it. Um, One series that I like that helps you out with writing is Rain Hall. I haven't read all of her books to great extent. I really want to get all her books and really focus and read her examples and get that in my head. But I haven't gotten that far yet. So I'm just saying that she has books on how to write horror and scary villains and stuff like that, and this is all coming from the top of my head. But for some reason I'm getting unease. Oh, I just had taken a moment to chat with someone. Yes, they're asking about what? What? The flash clips. Yes, so back in the day I don't know if I can explain this, but I was a huge Flash fan of the comics. I read all the comics. All the Flash. Barry, all of them. Even the one with the green suit, that was from, I think it was from the future, and then he came to, and then he was attacked by all the villains of the Flash, and he died, and I read that comic. When, right now, the Flash, um, with Flashpoint, the movie that is based on the Flash, I read that originally a decade ago or so when it came out, and I loved it. Only thing I don't love is that it reset the universe. So most likely this one is going to reset the universe, the film universe, because the issue for me and a lot of DC fans is that they're always resetting the universe. Brightest day, darkest night, resetting the universe, resetting right through. People change, names change, people's background change, everything. So I once could say that I knew everything about the Flash. And I actually, in the beginning days, we used to work at when the Flashy TV show started, I would tweet the Flash episode in real time. I've since that Twitter account has since been in defunct, but when I created a new Twitter account, which I hardly go to now, but yeah, I would tweet in real time the episode as it played on TV. And then at the end of the day, we got, well, the cable change switched out, and the time when Flash shows on cable, it wasn't the same time that we would get it on our local TV. So at that time, I just like, this ain't making any sense, and I stopped tweeting about it. I would still watch it, but I won't watch the original episode. We'll get a lot of reruns on the weekend, and I'll watch it on a weekend. I still tweet and chat with people. DC fans are really nice, talking about stuff, things they like, things they did not like. Oh, but anyway, yeah, that was how it went. And I created some clips online because I was so enamored with Barry and Iris's relationship, and I just started to post clips that I liked of the series online. Those clips have the most views on my channel. So let's try and get these original writings most viewed. Anyway, I would go back and make the clips. I would probably go back and make more clips now because YouTube has changed. In the past, I talked about the channel I had with the bunnies, the rabbits. As soon as some kind of song came on in the background, YouTube will kind of shut it down, and it didn't make any sense because the radio was soft. It was in the corner there, and then you couldn't. It didn't have editing software within YouTube at that time. I don't believe so. Only now they kind of editing software. You could mute stuff. You could take out clips and so forth. And plus, you have better free editing programs online. Sometimes I use DaVinci Code and stuff and things like that. So it's just being on YouTube is easier. I could put the clips online and it won't get really I don't see myself getting prosecuted for it, though you do read sometimes about persons doing things and getting prosecuted. As long as I don't get I won't get rights to it. It'll be recognized as a clip. I will not get the rights to it, but at least it doesn't seem to really push down your channel. Like, your channel will get buried. Like one of the channel I see, sometimes you won't get like views and stuff. I don't think that's happening. So I'll see if I can post more clips of the Flash, especially now that it's ending, which is really sad. I'll post and see what I can do for people, because it seems as if the most persons that suffer are the ones that are in countries where they can't get access to it. I know what it's like growing up in a country where you don't get access to certain media and certain things. But anyway, that's not what this is about. Let me think. No, recently I've been watching a lot of Michael J. Fox. I spoke about him last week, and the one thing he talked about was deciding not to go back into acting. And one of the things he mentioned was watching a Quentin Tarantino film about one of the characters played by one of the actors. Leonardo DiCaprio got trouble reading remembering and memorizing the script, and he said that while he was in that kind of position and contemplating the scene, he decided not to go back into acting because of his illness. I before I took the job I have now, I actually was considering um no, I have no idea what app on my phone makes that noise. It's coming almost every minute now. Um yeah, so yeah, before I took this job I thought I was going to go to social welfare and apply for social welfare to stay home for a short while. I might do that after this job as well. I didn't. I took this job, but like I said, it turned out to be my Green Lantern job. But as far as I'm concerned, all the called me because of my illness. I probably consider all my other jobs Green Lantern jobs, but just to pay as well. At least with this job, I might be able to walk away with my car. They try not to give it to me, but there's a lot of nonsense. I was at a department with the company just a week ago, and the person tried to make me believe that it wasn't a slight accident, I wasn't driving, and the person tried to make me believe that the insurance company should have given me all the funds for that the person put together the invoice for the that's it. I'm telling you, Trinidadians are the you're meeting up with them. You're meeting up with them right through these days. I'm not even talking about the job. Once I had to try to be clear, try to make me feel that the insurance company were in the wrong because they didn't give me all the funds they should have given me for the accident what the mechanic gave for the invoice of what it needed to fix the car. And I actually sent away for a hood. Had to send away abroad for the hood for this car and pass the car. But I really like my car. It's a no-name brand, and with all the car stuff going on right now with Hyundai and Kia, and it's a no-name brand car, and I find it'll suit me well for what I need to be going. I'm not making any long distance drives at all. But anyway, yeah, so that's what the person tried to make me say. So that person's are trying to get me to call the company to harass them as to why I didn't get the full. But that is not how a company does work or operate. I tell you, these people are the worst ones. They don't feel that they'll be called out for it. I have something to read to you all. I might read it to you all, but like I said, it's not just with companies, with places you work. It's just there was a time I had to help someone who had a disability get social welfare themselves, and dealing with that person was the worst. To think that I had to actually write a letter for that person who was so frustrated. I had to write a letter to the minister or secretariat in charge of community development or social welfare at the time. Can't remember what department or what ministry that department was under at the time, of just a few years back, and just explain to them exactly what took place with that person in the interview for that social welfare person. But you know that certain people would act a certain way to give you pushback, to make you feel upset, to make you not do certain things. A lot of persons in Trinidad and Tobago in the customer service industry is that way. So I understand how Digicel dealt. A part of me wonders if Digicel dealt a blow to customer service. I mean, part of the You see, AI has taken away a lot of customer service jobs, basically, because there's the AI bot, and companies love depending on an AI bot to be able to persons to just go and type in. But of course, everybody still wants to talk to an agent. They still want to chat with an agent. But a lot of persons just aren't good with customer service. I did call center operator for, and that was the one job I actually, despite the salary and the sometimes you'll get customers who just yelling at you. You're just there for the customer to yell at you right through. I liked it because I got a certificate for being good on a call. Like, what I like about that job was to evaluate you on the spot on what was going on. There are lots of jobs that don't do that. You could do stuff in a job, you could get a certificate, and the company would keep it, and you can't show it to anybody, or they would not acknowledge you doing well. I feel that way sometimes in the job I'm right now. Right now I'm sitting, and a few weeks ago I got so bored. I did a Excel document of the lotto, local lotto. So I went to the VBA and I watched a video online, and I edited the code to create a Excel spreadsheet document of 300 something plus thousand instances of the lotto that you can play, and you could just 300 something different instances of lotto you could play, that could possibilities of lotto, the local lotto in Trinidad and Tobago. Hold on a second. Yes, yes, I know. Yeah, so 300 plus 300,000 plus instances of the lotto. So yeah, so that's how I was, and I was like, I haven't done anything IT coding related in years, because I just don't trust myself to be able to do work at that capacity. But every time I find that I'm in that capacity to do that work, because I have helped out my sister with her work and everything, with her stuff, to do coding and thing, I could do it, but I don't generally do it. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Give me 1 minute. my lovelies. Sorry that took so long. I got a visitor. So, can't remember what I was talking about. Um, okay. Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie The Watcher on Netflix? Right. Well, because of that instance, I pointed out as a disclaimer on my website. I actually let my mom know and my family know I will never harm them. And because of that, persons coming in to your private space, there are a lot of lunatics out there. I just had to clarify and verify, send messages out to persons on my WhatsApp that I had an intrusion on my personal space with my phone, my private stuff, and I let them know that, I would never say or do anything untoward anybody. So, um, that disclaimer, that's what that's about. Just because there's a lot of lunatics out there that is just as the Pope had said. The Pope mentioned the devil or evil spirit or something dressed in fine clothing That's exactly what that disclaimer is all about. Evility dressed in fine clothing. That is something, a statement that the Pope made. The gist of it. That's a kind of like what the Pope had said a few months ago. Um, or just a few weeks ago. And I would say to that before that, I say that, oh, they are evil. They are people anointed by the devil to harm God fearing people here on earth. Make no mistake. And they have zero qualms about it. They aren't spiritual. They don't talk to God. And when they do talk to God or reach out to God, it's just play acting. All they want to do is to harm other people. Right? That is all that goes through their head and through their hearts and through their minds. And their close relatives and stuff that they touch, and they feel that that makes them human and be nice, that as long as they're nice to whatever, that doesn't translate to godliness, to God at all. Understand? Does not translate to godliness. Nothing they do translate to godliness. They're just humanoid beings here on earth, doing the devil's bidding, and it's up to us to stay as far away from those people as we possibly can. It's not to interact with them or to terrorize them on God's behalf. Because you will just get sucked in to their evility, because they want a tit for tat, so they could pressure you into not being as close to God as you possibly can. But make no mistake, they are out there, just as the Pope said, and they're looking nice and fine in good, nice attire and immaculate clothing. But it's just a facade. The godliness they preach is just a facade. The God bless is just a facade to get close to you, to do the devil's work. Okay. And those evil beings always have an excuse that they feel is that will draw other people in and will rationalize the evility that they do. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing, that can rationalize the evility that they do. They do the evil, it's going to land them in hell. And the last thing you want to do is to be connected to it, to get you sent down that space. Hold a moment, please. think I got the name Brute from a men's fragrance or deodorant. Sounds familiar. And I have to look up that word and that meaning. Not now. See, with my face, I have a really tough breakout these past few weeks. I think it's the stress. It was like I said before, at the end of the day, it's just sometimes, it's just like a cascade of negative things happening. That what happens when you have whole ton of evil in your life. Ooh. But it's nothing to do with God and His blessings. God will still bless you. Nothing to do with God and His blessings. It is I don't know if I made this clear, but one idea that came to mind when I was younger about this thing with the Jumbie. Like my house in my mind, as it would be blessed with good spirits, but once the Jumbie, the evil ways of the Jumbie from the outside attacks us here and my family on the inside, is like the house is at war with this evil spirit, and I guess you could call it bad vibes or evil ability would burst forth from the confines of the house, and bad things would happen on the outside. So as violence and crime rages and it becomes a big issue, to me, as was younger, the idea in my head would be like, there's so much from the negative Jumbie attacking us on the inside, trying to bring us down, that it's just spreading and branching out, and bad things are happening on the outside. So crime and violence, all that negativity raging within Trinidad and Tobago, it's like it's being caused by that Jumbie that has taken hold and attacking the blessings of the house. Remember, when I was younger, I had a plaque on the wall called, it had the sign saying God bless this house. So it's like the house, God is being attacked, His blessings are being attacked, and because there's this great battle happening inside the house for our good nature and our good spirit, evilness is falling on the persons and wrongdoing is falling on the person outside, and things like crime and violence will become out of control. And that is, when I was younger, that is the idea, and to a certain extent that idea persists with me today, that since this Jumbie is attacking the household, bad things are happening on the outside. And remember, these negative people who are doing the evil don't believe in God and His Spirit. They just believe in this that's not real, skin and bone, harming people, places, and things like dogs and cats and things like that. And so you can't reason with them. You're not spiritually smart. Anyway, focus. Just now, just now, just now. Just now. You know, I had a last name for her, but for this character, and I can't remember it. Nah, a dumb last name. Oh, I thought of something. Okay, I like that. I like that. I like that. And that's the end of chapter 1. Expect to see this on the blog. I won't be posting it on the Instagram. I just felt that is too much, takes up too much posts to create for this project. I'll post it on the blog part of my site, creator part at Mark Blog on my website. I'll also see once you subscribe to this channel, you could go to my website and put your email into the newsletter posting. I'll see if I can switch it up to show you. Okay, I won't. Oh, these dogs. And you can't leave the door open, you know, because of the noise that people is making on the outside. And even then you leave it open for them, once they try to push it to open it, they close it anyway. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, and then tutus, they'll be back inside here. I remember there was a night recently where Nico, he was just up and down. He was going through the back door and then this door and about, and he went downstairs, he came upstairs. Okay. Alright, so I'm putting it a post on the blog. Let me show you where that is. No. Let's see. Let me pull this up. Okay. Okay, seeing the Curtis Chrome. Alright, right here where it says sign up now and read for free, put in your name and your email address. Right, and you'll get a newsletter with what I typed up in your email. I hope you like it. Please note that the stories that I write is not for personal use and is not free to put up anywhere. Okay, right. You have to ask my permission. So that's it for chapter 1. I'm going to attempt to start to go back to writing this early on in the day. I just feel I have no patience for it on a weekend, because it's like I said and I explained before, sometimes you're just sitting there, you're getting all these interruptions. But at the same time I feel confident that it's a good healing process for me, not just because of what happened recently with persons that I know that have passed on, or things that I'm dealing with, but dealing with my MS and explaining what is going on, and not for reasons to attract sympathy, but to really to reach out as an outreach to, it's like I said, like at the same time Michael J. Fox is doing, the reason why he's doing it, and he said that he doesn't think he'll be here until he's 80. You know, it's the end of your life creeping up on you as someone with an illness. You're seeing the end. I don't think I'll, like I said before, I hope that this doesn't bring anybody down. I hope that this would be worthy, a very worthy explanation. I hope that this would be the, oh gosh, I didn't see, I think yeah, okay. Okay, let me bring this up for you again. I don't think I'm sure, but I don't think I don't think that you'll miss it. Okay, this little part up here on my website. Remember, don't let go. Asha captured her gaze with a searing, intense fervor that compelled Audriana's breath to catch and her throat to tighten. Her mouth ran dry. She made to dab her lips with her tongue when she noticed his eyes divert to her parted lips, and she bit her tongue with her teeth, preventing it from. Okay, that's the passage I worked on the week before with Soundstage, and that is where you have to put in your name and your email address to get through with the newsletter. So, and these are the donation pages, the GoFundMe. You could donate via PayPal. I much rather prefer PayPal because you don't wait on anything. You don't wait like you do with GoFundMe. And I would also be putting together, or to the side here lower down, you would see here you could donate with Bitcoin. Oh yes, and there's a contact page. You want to contact me here on the website. And this is my poetry, examples of my poetry. Wrote these ages ago. I hardly write poetry these days, trying to move myself to do more. And this is Love So Wicked. And this is the music. This is the song I created. I like to post some more, but like I said, the funds are keeping me back. But this is the first track, We're in Love. I love this song. I wrote it myself. I got some singers to sing it for me, and this is a really good song. I'm afraid to play it because I don't know what YouTube will do, but let me play the first part, see if it comes through. Will it? So that's an issue. Into that kind of nice soft R&B music thing. Well, thank you for joining me, my lovelies. And please take care, stay safe. I hope that God keeps you in mind, and pray. And prayer is you talking to God, and meditating is you listening to what God has to say. And lots of times I have not been meditating enough. I really want to focus on meditating these next few days to really listen to what God has to tell me, because God was speaking to me and has been speaking to me for a while, and I've been negotiating with him, or I'll just not do what he has said. And it wasn't always like that. I said before, I used to listen to God, and no matter what happened, I will be like, God is in control, God is on my side, God has me in his heart. So I didn't have to determine anything. All I had to do was follow what God had to say, and that has not been happening lately. I've had a lot of evil spirits and evility around me. I haven't to push that evility aside. So I am trying my best to focus on God and what he has to say. Alright? You too, God bless, take care, and be confident in what is going to be your very good future. Alright?